So, Greg, we're talking about controversial issues, and one of the issues in your book is income disparity. So, what do you think about minimum wage?
Minimum wage, and a minimum wage I think is very important to have. Otherwise, employers are going to take advantage of people, pay them too little. Each society must decide what is a proper minimum wage, and that in itself is an issue.
Yeah,
What should it be?
Actually, I disagree. I'm actually against the minimum wage. I think that, basically all markets find an equilibrium, and that if the wage goes too low, people just won't do the job. And so, basically, if you don't have a minimum wage, eventually society will come to a wage where people feel comfortable doing that work, that basically things will work out.
And in theory, maybe you're right, but in reality, you're really wrong. I mean, take a look at some of these countries around the world where there are sweatshops, where you have children, because there are no rules regulating labor, and you have children who never educated, who spend their entire lives working almost like slaves in unhealthy conditions. That's what happens when there are no rules to protect workers.
But I think that's somewhat true, but you said the key word, that they're not educated. I think the problem there is that the people aren't educated, and that's what leads to the abject poverty, that they might do a job like that. So don't you think that if people were educated more, they would not be willing to work such meaningless jobs, or such jobs that pay so little?
Many of those people, those children who are working like slaves, don't have a chance for any education, and often they're being exploited, not always, but sometimes by people who have had good education.
Right.
Take a child in some very poor country, has to work just to find food.
So basically, you're saying
is secondary.
So basically, you're saying that they should have a living wage, that they should make enough money that they can have a decent standard of living.
Everybody should have a decent standard of living, I believe.
I just think that it's really hard to arbitrarily set a price. I mean, that number is always going to go up and down. That even minimum wage somewhat skews the reality that if you just let markets take their natural course, eventually people won't be willing to work.
No, it doesn't work that way, because I think when you just have what's complete free market, you have corrupt people who take advantage of other people.
Well, that actually I do agree with. I do believe in free markets, but one thing that is true, free markets cannot work where there's corruption. I do agree with that. So we agree about something.
Yes. Good thing.